Welcome back to the best division in football with Awthentik and the Beard, presented by All or Nothing Studios. What's up, team? It's your boy Scotty Boomz. Thanks for tuning in to our Thursday preview show. We have 3 NFC East games to preview coming up this weekend. Washington's at home versus the Bengals. Eagles are traveling to Cleveland, take on the Browns, and the Cowboys take on the Minnesota Vikings. We're also going to talk about the Thursday night game tonight. Should be a barn burner, as me and the boys like to say around here. The Cardinals and the Seahawks are battling it out. That should be good. Let's bring in the fellas. Awthentik, it's a bye week for your G-men. How do you feel on bye weeks, man? Are you interested? Do you even watch football? What do you do on your normal bye weeks, man?
Normally, I'm not too interested in the bye week, man. I'll usually just kick it here, man, watch the game with Tim. But this week, man, in particular, I'm super excited about this bye week. I almost put on my coach's hat. It was looking a little too wrinkled today, so I didn't pop that off. But definitely got my coach's eye out on these games. I mean, with Washington playing the Bengals and with Philly playing the Browns. I mean, those are two teams that the Giants are going to have to see here in the next couple of weeks. And then this Thursday night game, we're going to see both of those teams. So I'm looking forward to this slate of games coming up, man, tonight and this weekend, man. It's going to be a great slate of games.
You're going to do some scouting is what you're saying. Check out like
most definitely.
Send Joe Judge an email, maybe let them know what they can do. The Beard, man, you just took a trip a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, what's today? Today's Thursday. Yesterday, I drove to North Carolina and back. So
How was it?
It was pretty awesome. Shout out to OBX Picker. My man Eric hooked it up, man. I picked up a whole bunch of stuff, man. Some dope glass, some china, some enamelware. Like, it was wild. It was a crazy trip, to be real with you. Just like driving almost 4 hours by yourself and then driving 4 hours back, like after digging through a house and 2 barns for like 3 hours. So yeah, it was pretty tiring, but I got to, listen to a bunch of sports radio on the way down there, and then catch some of the drafts listen to it. I was not really happy with the Washington Wizards selection.
Why not?
I mean, the dude averages like 4 points a game in the EuroLeague. Like,
EuroLeague's weird though, man. Like, nobody averages 25 points a game.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, you want somebody like Luka. Luka won MVP of the EuroLeague, right? This guy's averaging 4 points a game in the EuroLeague. It's just, I just with the 9th pick in the draft, like, and I would have rather gone big. You know what I'm saying? I would have taken Sticks out of Maryland for real.
He went one pick later. I thought he was going to be like a late first, early second rounder, but Jalen Smith went 10th overall. That might have been a reach. But if
and then whatchamacallit, Jason Wright, the president of football operations for the Washington football team, said today that the name, the Washington football team, will be on the table for the permanent name. And I was like, dude, who is telling this guy that this is okay? Like, who over there in the Redskins organization is like, hey, yeah, the Washington football team, it's a great name.
And they're 100% set on, at least for next season, that's going to be the name? Is that what I heard?
I think so, because they're having trouble, like, the transition period in itself. Like, basically making, going through, like, the logo and the trademark and all that stuff. So it's super annoying, but they said it's on the table. I'm like, dude, you need to take it off the table and throw it in the trash. I cannot imagine having to say the Washington football team. Like, it's just like, phonically,
we've been saying doing it for
we have, and we still have been butchering it, for 10 weeks here.
And
definitely.
It sucks for YouTube. Just gonna be honest with you,
dog. I was gonna say that, and for doing research on them, man. Even just looking up box scores for them, man. When you search Washington versus the team they played, man, stuff coming up from 3-4 years ago, man. I've had times where I did all these notes right, and then I look up and I'm like, oh, that box score ain't even from this year.
Right. You have to save every time I do a Washington team site, I always got to save in my favorites so I can just go right to it. You know what I mean? As opposed to having Google search, no way you're gonna find it.
Yeah. So
then the plural vibe of it, like, what do you call them?
The
you
Washington football
the Chicago Bears, right?
Teamers.
The New York Giants. What are you, the Teamers?
We're teaming with
the team.
Goes both ways.
Is there any football team in NFL that is like not like an S at the end of it? Like the Raiders, the Giants,
no,
the Buccaneers.
No,
there's nothing like that, huh?
No.
Nope.
No.
Look, Scotty, thinking.
NBA teams have that? Like
we're talking about the NFL.
I know.
Not the sky.
Or something.
It's just awful.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Like,
so
really
let me say some shout outs to a couple of the people in the chat. Before we get started on that, though, I do want to give a big shout out to the homie Mark and Carrie over at Freedom Breakers. You guys can find them on Facebook, Freedom Breakers. They're doing crazy dope sports car breaks. They've been showing us a lot of love. They got a ticker going on at the bottom of their screen during all their breaks, showing Awthentik in the beard. So just wanted to give them a big shout out, and we appreciate their support as always. So in the chat, we got Word, XXI.
Oh, faithful. Let's go.
The Giants are always in here deep. I tried to go recruit some Washington football teamers.
Yeah, we gotta
just
work
listen
on
to
that.
how that sounds.
We definitely got to work on that for
that
sure.
why?
Oh man, I forgot to tell y'all, man. I was on a panel with Entertainer and the Hub and a few others, man, that went really dope the other night, man. Tim hit me up. He's like, man, were you on a show? I was like, yeah. He's like, man, the numbers spiked pretty crazy, bro.
Oh, I did see that text. Whose channel was it?
It was on the Hub's channel, actually,
Okay.
and it was very last minute. Entertainer popped in the chat. I was in the chat. They brought Entertainer on. People in the chat was like, got to bring Awthentik in, man. So we had like a, just a little round table talk, man. And there was a couple other folks in there, too, that I just followed. I don't want to butcher their names. But I came in hot. I came in hot talking about Daniel Jones, man. It was an excellent conversation, man. We're going to carry some of that into today for sure.
Yeah,
Shout
I
out
definitely
to
got
Lax.
I got some Giants stuff for you today, Steve. Even though you know what I mean. It's not Giants week. Awthentik's still gonna get some questions.
Yeah, I'm
That's
sure
what's
we're
up.
going to
That's
have to
what's
talk
up.
about a little bit about the
we gotta
Colombo
be talking
situation.
about the Giants a little something, on this
Colombo,
bias. It's going to be pretty
sure.
boring.
Yeah, Colombo situation. Shout out to Lax and Sunday. Thank
Sunday
you
in
guys for
the
joining us.
building.
New subscriber. We got to get some sound effects for
What
new
up,
faces.
Joel?
Nah, I told you, man, that joint is distracting, bro. You be mid conversation like cha-chang bang. You're like, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
What's going on, Joel? Thank you for joining us. Zach Phillips is in the building.
What up,
Joseph,
Zach?
what's good? Bradley, I noticed you asked me this the other day, and I haven't had a chance to look at the
Who's
film.
Oh, you don't know about this?
It was
No,
a second
what?
play.
Hey, do you know about this, Scotty?
Yeah. Because as soon he said it like 5 times in the chat last episode, so I was like, man, that's enough. Went on
gotta go
Game
look it
Pass.
up.
What?
I pulled it up. It was the second
happened?
and 2 double reverse. We
Yeah.
did talk about it. We did talk.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so, yeah.
wait, but he might not be talking about that. He's not talking about that game. He's talking about the Giants. He's talking about the Giants versus Washington. That's
Game
a
Pass goes all the way back.
That's a nod to Andrew Thomas. So go back and look at that game, or I'll tell y'all maybe off air, but you gotta go back and look at that play. So that's a nod to Andrew Thomas for sure.
Art Vandalay. What's going on, Art Vandalay? My man.
Great
He's a
name.
reseller. What's going on, brother? Thank you for joining
What's
us.
up, Art?
He's got a YouTube channel as well. Mr. Finesse, salute. Sub Saturday after he saw
What's up,
him
Finesse?
on with Entertainer.
Yeah.
Yes, go Cleveland. We all
we shared
want,
a lot of the same opinions in that one. I remember
we all
that.
want Cleveland to win for sure. That is a definite. Anthony, the Bluegrass Picker, is in the building. Thank you for
Bluegrass,
joining
what up?
us.
What up?
Tommy is in the building. $1 million question. Drive through Taco Bell on the trip? Actually, no. I stopped at Wendy's on the way there and McDonald's on the way back.
Dang, you was fast fooded up.
I was trying to I wanted to try something different, like Bojangles or
Bojangles is
Right.
delicious.
Why
but
didn't
it didn't work out for the timing with the gas and the exit. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
happens.
crazy.
What's up, Tommy?
My girlfriend is in the building. Josie, what's up, baby?
Josie, what
Thank
up,
you for
what up?
joining us.
Hey.
Who else we got here? There goes Gretz Faux Show.
Grass, what's up?
Tracy is in the building. How you doing, Tracy? Thank you for joining us.
Hey.
Tracy.
Girl.
And there goes Lucas, our marketing director.
My man, what's up, Lucas?
Hey, Chad
Hey,
Byrne.
Chad
What's
Byrne.
going on,
What up,
brother?
boy?
Come on,
Hey.
man.
If y'all don't know, man, Chad Byrne is an Eagles content creator, and he is dope. So definitely shout out to Chad, man. Catch him on Instagram. He's on a bunch of different platforms, but shout out to
Yeah,
Chad
love
Byrne.
what Chad's
Show.
doing, man. It's great content.
Jimmy, Old School Flips, checking in from Colorado, and
What up?
our resident Cleveland Brown fan,
Hey, what up, Dwayne?
is in the
Hey.
building.
Big game.
And Sketchy Mark is here. What's going on, Mark? Mark,
up, Mark?
Mark
What
has
up?
been getting crazy into the shoe game lately.
Browns all
so-
day. They gonna think you a Brown fan, bro.
And this is a great one to say hello to. Hey, Sugar
Oh, you know,
Tits.
you know what? So the Hub, Sugar be in the Hub's channel, right? But Hub's like folks be right next to him sometimes when he's on live. So Tainer was like, you gotta say Sugar Tots. And y'all, I don't know if y'all remember when PJ might not be in the chat tonight, but when PJ used to go to Hooters, he'd be like, "We going to Tits and Tots."
Man, that was the best. We used to like singing the whole way there in the car driving to it. That was a good. Time.
What's going on, Maria? How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Maria in the building. What's up?
Art said he caught the replay from Sunday on Tommy's channel. Had to come check us out. I appreciate the love.
yeah, that was a
man.
wild
Thank
show.
You, thank you.
We're a little more timid on this show. We don't turn up. Have a good time.
All right.
Ready to get into it?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So on these Thursday preview shows, we pick every game from the NFC East as well as the Thursday night game. Awthentik's rolling on this season. We had another 2-in-1 week. He's on top, 24-14 on the year.
Look, you see Tim lean back like that and go, he just want to dispute it. Like, you sure, Scott?
No. It's just because I know that this is how it happened last year when I started picking the Washington football team too much, and then that kind of set me aside.
That was a game that hurt you. You went 1-2. So the Beard's 2 games back. I'm like 6 games back. I'm pretty much out of this race here. Let's get into the first game. First game we're going to talk about preview. Cowboys traveling to Minnesota take on the Vikings. Cowboys sitting at 2-7 in last place with Washington. Vikings coming in at 4-5. Cowboys had a bye week last week. Hopefully it means something. They can get it together. The Vikings had an unimpressive win against Chicago. We did talk about Chicago's defense. It's elite. So, that was kind of expected. It was 19-13. The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. I was calling him the Red Rocket the first 3 weeks, and nobody on the show corrected me in the chat or my co-host. It's the Red Rifle, not the Red Rocket. Somebody told me that off air, and I was like, why did nobody tell me that? Anyway, Andy Dalton was activated from the COVID list. It hasn't been announced yet, but he is expected to start. Dallas is only averaging 10.8 points a game since Dak's injury, so they need any help they can get. Vikings started the season 1-5, one of the major disappointing teams going in. They've turned it around. They had a bye week, made some adjustments. Since the bye, they've won 3 straight games, all interdivision games: Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago. The guy we got to talk about over there, Dalvin Cook, on this 3-game stretch, 3-game winning streak, averaging 27 carries a game, 155 yards, 5 touchdowns. On the other side of the ball, Zeke Elliott has not had a 100-yard rushing outing in 9 attempts. That's his longest drought of his career. Awthentik, I know you like what the Vikings are doing. I feel like a broken record asking this question, but 27 carries a game averaging for Dalvin over those last 3. Why isn't Zeke getting this load for Dallas with the way they're struggling to score right now?
Well, I mean, we know a lot of it has to do with him not having his quarterback. I mean, these numbers since Dak has been out, Zeke Elliott is averaging 3.8 yards per carry, 63 yards per game. He has not scored a touchdown since Dak Prescott got hurt against the New York Giants, where he had 2 touchdowns in that game. So to answer that, I mean, he's missing his bro. I've been saying that for a little while now. He's definitely missing Dak Prescott and along with the rest of those Cowboys, man. But I like what the Vikings are doing. I was trying to tell the Beard this I think it was last show or the show before that. I think the Vikings can go ahead and make a playoff run this year, man. I forget who they got after the Cowboys, but I feel like it's another easy, winnable game there. And I'm looking at this one as a winnable game here against the Cowboys as well. And, obviously it's going to start with the run. Dalvin Cook has been frying, 5.5 yards per carry this year, 954 yards. That's first in the NFL. 12 rushing touchdowns. That's first in the NFL as well. He's coming off this game last week, one of his least efficient games of the year probably, but it was still impressive. I mean, I love seeing games like this where a team can commit to the run to get the W. 30 carries for him last week, 96 yards, only averaging 3.2 yards per carry, but that's good enough for me right there. I mean, you run that 3 times, you're close to a first down. And the Cowboys rushing defense, man, they're struggling. I think that's the piece of the Cowboys defense that has not been corrected. Allowing 5 yards per carry, that's 30th in the NFL, and 157 yards per game, that's 31st in the NFL. And at the beginning of the year, people were super down on this Cowboys pass defense. But the Cowboys pass defense has really cleaned things up a little bit here, minus the touchdowns. And I'll talk about why I think they're allowing a lot of touchdowns. They're 30th. Allowing 21 passing touchdowns on the year, but they're only allowing 224 yards per game, which is 11th, and a completion percentage of 61.9. That's 4th in the NFL. So that pass defense, we got to commend them. They have turned things around a little bit, but I think the rushing defense is still struggling. I think it has a lot to do with the turnovers that they're getting on the other side of the ball, which is, with the quarterback play that we're having here. I don't know why the hell the Cowboys are going to start Andy Dalton in this game. I got to keep it 100. The young bull came in last week and played pretty decent. I thought if you gave him a couple games under his belt, he might be able to actually bring this Cowboys team back into contention in this struggling NFC East division.
So you want to see Garrett Gilbert again?
Yeah, I do. I'm Andy Dalton is cooked. It's over for him. He's overcooked. He's like, you ever had a burger overcooked? That's garbage. You're throwing that thing in the straight trash. But Dallas's offense has committed the second most turnovers in the NFL. They're 31st with 20 turnovers. So, their defense is struggling because of field position, obviously. Talked about Ezekiel Elliott's numbers there, man. And I just think this week for the Cowboys, for Ezekiel Elliott, things are not going to get easier, man. This Vikings rush defense is allowing 4 yards a carry. That's 10th in the NFL, and 100 yards per game, 115 yards per game. That's 15th in the NFL. So I'm taking the Vikings in this game, straight up.
Oh, you know what? Let me ask the Beard a question, then we'll get to some scores. How about that?
Facts.
The Beard, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, 2 rookie wide receivers, highly touted coming into this game. Justin Jefferson has undoubtedly outperformed CeeDee Lamb to this point. We could talk about respective quarterbacks. I mean, Kirk Cousins has been superior to anything the Cowboys have put on the field.
100. Let me
He's been better, but not superior.
Let me before you get to the Beard. Let me give you some stats because I know he don't got these Kirk Cousins stats. He's too much of a hater to have Kirk Cousins stats.
I didn't look him. I don't have one thing about Kirk Cousins on my page. I didn't want to talk about it, but Awthentik, you got the floor, man.
Let me get you, man. Coming off 3 straight wins, and this is why I think the Vikings are in the mix. He's had a quarterback rating of above 100 in each of those 3 games. The Washington football team could learn a little bit from the way the Vikings are actually running their offense. Week 8, he was 11 of 14. Ridiculous. 160 yards, 1 touchdown. Week 9, he was 13 of 20 with 3 touchdowns, 220 yards. And week 10, he was 25 of 36 with 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That's a 3-game total of 49 of 70, 672 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Don't tell me Kirk Cousins ain't balling.
He has a perfect situation. You have a running back like
Facts.
Dalvin Cook, the best in football. You got Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. You got a good offensive line. It's been proven in the past when Kirk Cousins has the weapons and pieces around him, he can be successful. But he needs those pieces, and he has them this year.
Facts.
Until he throws an interception.
Solomon says he doesn't win meaningful games. I'll disagree with you a little bit there. He doesn't win Monday night games where he's 1-11, I believe.
The Beard, man. So would you, if it was a redraft of the 2020 NFL draft, are you taking Jefferson over CeeDee Lamb, or too early to call it?
I don't think. I think they're pretty even. You have to remember too that CeeDee Lamb, was putting up numbers from the beginning. It took Justin Jefferson, it wasn't necessarily, I don't want to just make it seem like it took just Justin Jefferson, but it took the time for him to get mixed into the offense with the way that he is now. He's explosive. He's one, Justin Jefferson is, he can go 3-4 catches, 100+ yards. You know what I'm saying? He's good for those big plays. CeeDee Lamb, he can work. I think he works more of the field than Justin Jefferson does. You'll see CeeDee Lamb across the middle. You'll see CeeDee Lamb go long. You'll see him do a whole bunch of different stuff. I think they're pretty much neck and neck as far as. So I don't necessarily know if I would redraft, one ahead of the other if I were doing a redraft. Now, if I was the Philadelphia Eagles, I might be, we still haven't seen what Jalen Reagor can do fully yet. But, now they're the ones that have a lot. I looked at this picture of all the wide receivers that the Philadelphia Eagles have passed on in the last 2 years. And it is bad. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, all of the amazing, this last draft and last year with McLaurin and Slayton's draft, the amount of wide receivers that it has been pumping out has been crazy. So,
DK Metcalf and a couple other guys, right?
DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Darius Slayton, just to name a few. And then this year, there's so many. You have Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. You can even go deeper and you go into Laviska Shenault. You got, KJ Hamler out in Denver as well. There's a lot of Chase Claypool. There's so much talent at the wide receiver position these last 2 drafts. It's definitely super exciting. And you could see Eagles fans, like Chad's saying right there. He said, I take JJ over Reagor 100%.
All day right now. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Maybe not CeeDee Lamb, like you said, because CeeDee Lamb came out on fire in the beginning of the year. But yeah, definitely over Reagor.
Jefferson also got caught in CeeDee Lamb's girlfriend's DMs too, just like last week.
For real?
So there might be some bad blood on the field.
There's definitely some competition there.
Whoa. Is that legit?
That's legit. Yeah, go ahead and Google that if you want to. And then CeeDee Lamb's girlfriend posted it and put him on blast.
Smart. I like
didn't
that.
show what he wrote, but actually put that out there. So
It's kind of funny because CD Lamb, if you remember from the draft, CD Lamb was the one on the couch when his girl tried to take his cell phone.
Oh, that was him,
and then he snatched the phone out of her hands. Yeah, that was CD Lamb.
That's probably what Jefferson's text message said. It was probably like, "You'll never have to, you can always look at my phone. I'm always gonna be open to you." All right.
Hey, speaking on Justin Jefferson real quick, I want to just give you a couple stats on that before we leave this game. Week 10, man, he had one of his highest targets for the year. He had 10 targets, 8 catches, 135 yards. That's his fourth straight 100, or it's not his fourth straight, but it's his fourth 100-yard game of the year. On the year, he's got 42 catches. He's averaging 84 yards a game, 3 touchdowns, and 18 yards per catch.
That's insane. So
the touchdowns went to Adam Thielen this week. He only had 4 catches, 45 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I think a lot of what Justin Jefferson was doing and a lot of obviously what Dalvin Cook was doing and exactly what Solomon said, the play action definitely opened up, their passing game because they didn't have to throw it that much.
Yeah, because Thielen is and it's a good combination. It's kind of crazy because, Stephon Diggs left, and now Stephon Diggs is the leading wide receiver in yards, in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. And then Thielen with Jefferson, they're kind of, Thielen's like become more of like a red zone target in a way, which is kind of interesting because, they have Irv Smith, the young tight end over there. They also have Kyle Rudolph, the veteran Notre Dame, shout out Fighting Irish. But the other thing is that, Thielen is tied with the league lead with receiving touchdowns. And
the one he caught that one-handed one he caught this week, that was a beauty. And that pass was right on the money, but he kind of shielded him with his off arm and just like cradled a one-handed, left-handed catch, man. It was amazing.
That's good. I mean, Thielen, when they got rid of Diggs, he was probably like, this is it. I'm about to get triple teamed every time. But then you come and get a rookie that comes in right away and demands the safety over the top. Thielen's like, give me my money.
Yeah, you got to love it. Got to love it.
All right, give me a score. Picking a score, Awthentik. We'll start with you.
Oh, yeah. I'll take give me the Vikings in this game. And I think it'll be a heavy dosage of the run, but Kirk Cousins will definitely be able to get a couple passes in the end zone off the play action like we talked about. Give me the Vikings. I'll take the Vikings 27-13.
Gosh. I like it. The Beard, 27-13 Vikings.
No, but it's very close to my score. I actually had a score ready this time. I have 27-10 Vikings.
Nice.
I like it. I'm also taking the Vikings. 32-17. I don't know. You guys are giving Cowboys defense too much credit. They actually haven't given up 30 points in 3 straight games, so they're playing better.
They are.
But, Vikings are rolling right now.
And what's interesting is a 425 game.
A 425
So that's probably going to be the game we get primetime.
Interesting. All right. So
that's a big game for the Vikings. They got to win that game. Can't come out and shoot a dud against a team that you're supposed to beat.
Definitely not.
Unanimous decision on that pick. Next game we're going to preview. Chad Byrne, I'm glad you're here, buddy. I've been holding down your Eagles all year, and you've been nowhere to be found, man. So I'm glad you're here for this preview. Your Philadelphia Eagles, still first place, 3-5-1, are traveling to Cleveland to take on my boy Dewey, also in the chats. Cleveland Browns, 6-3. The Eagles are coming off a loss to Awthentik's Giants, 27-17. Cleveland took down Houston. That was one of the worst games I've seen all year. That was 10-7. Myles Garrett, home wrecker. That dude saved the game for them in the red zone on defense. Last time these two teams met, 2018. Believe it or not, the score, I don't know if anybody remembers it. It was 5-0. This is a football game we're talking about, 5-0. A real barn burner. Not quite as much. Carson Wentz, the down year rolls on for him. He's the only quarterback to start every game this season and not post one game with a quarterback rating over 100. So he's just been struggling all the way. We talked about them running the ball and maybe not featuring it enough. They are third in the league in yards per carry at 5.1. That's good. They're 27th in attempts. Boston Scott's shown he can run the ball. Miles Sanders has been healthy, playing well. Maybe just eliminate Carson Wentz and run the rock more, Philly. How about it, Doug Peterson? How about it? Talking about the Browns, Nick Chubb, running back. He returned from injury last week, didn't miss a beat, 126 rushing yards and a touchdown. He's only played 5 games this year, but he's averaging 6.1 a carry, which is absurd. The dude's a stud when he's healthy, and if he stays healthy, they're going to have a lethal rushing attack. Since Odell Beckham's season-ending ACL injury against the Bengals, the Browns have only scored 6 points in a loss to the Raiders and 10 points in a win against Houston last week. So we talked about, was Odell going to affect their offense? Points-wise, it has so far. Awthentik, we know how you feel about the Eagles. but I've also heard you say on some recent shows that the Browns don't really scare you despite the 6-3 record. Give me one player on either side of the ball that's going to turn the tide of the game for one of these teams.
Yo, shout out my man Chris Senor. That comment was hilarious. He was like, I didn't know the Browns were on a bye this week. That's pretty funny. Oh, man, the Browns are that 6-3 record is definitely a little bit overhyped. Don't forget they got 2 wins against the Bengals, a win against the Texans, the Cowboys, the Colts, which is probably their only legit win of the year, and the Washington Redskins. That's terrible. That you know what I've been saying about Pittsburgh? Overrated at is it 9-0 now? They've played most of these teams I named on this list, including the Giants as well. A lot of smoke and mirrors in Cleveland here. And you talked about the 10-7 win against the Texans. And the Browns rushed for a combined 231 yards in this game versus struggling Texans defense, obviously. How was the score only 10-7?
They didn't score touchdowns. They just ran it between the 20s and then get in the red zone, I think it was windy, too. Bad weather or something.
It was bad weather.
Watson had a chance to score for the Texans, and he got sacked in the red zone on 4th down at least one time.
Yeah, it definitely was bad weather, and I saw a lot of analysts on TV this week copping and pleading for Baker Mayfield, talking about he's had 2 games in the bad weather. But I'm not sold on his play this year. And also, can't forget that Nick Chubb did step out of bounds late there he had a touchdown run, but just to seal the game, he stepped out of bounds. Gotta love, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are the players to watch in this game. You want to see kind of the same kind of scheme they ran last week here. They split the carries even. Both had 19 carries. Kareem Hunt had 104. Nick Chubb had 126. And I saw an interesting thing today. Keyshawn Johnson, dog, he talks really, really good football. I forget what show he's on, but he's talking some legit football. He talked about how the Browns are running the ball the most on first down of any team in the NFL this year. It's 65% of their plays on first down are runs. But the other guys were arguing with him, talking about analytics say that you should pass more on first down. And I'm like, why? When you got 2 running backs like this in the backfield, they need to take the Minnesota Vikings formula and just hammer the rock. And I agree with you, Scotty, with the Eagles, man. The Eagles, they got Miles Sanders back there, who to me is one of the more – he's in the top half of running backs in the league, if you ask me. But he's just not getting the carries, man. We talked about this last week. The dude has never had 20 carries in his whole career. That makes no sense. Coming off a game here where he had 15 carries for 85 yards against the Giants. We praised Doug Peterson a lot on our first year of Awthentik and the Beard. Doug Peterson is garbage. He's and I think the reason why we were praising him is because they had Frank Reich as their offensive coordinator. And since the Super Bowl, he's been calling the plays. I got to chop it up with a bunch of homies actually last night on my homie PTA Sports Pest. He brought me on his channel and we talked, and he had this young bull on there, man. Bashir, 17-year-old, a junior in high school, dropping big gems about how Doug Peterson is garbage. When you got running backs like this, Boston Scott had over 50 yards on 3 carries. We know he had the big run, but why are y'all not just hammering the rock and learning from the Vikings and teams like the Browns here who are hammering the rock on first down? It doesn't make any sense. So look for more of the Browns to run the ball in this game and keep the ball out of Baker Mayfield's hands so he doesn't have to make mistakes. The Eagles' rush defense is ranked 24th. They're allowing 133 yards per game, 4.4 a carry. Man, yeah, I'm going to give you a heavy dosage of Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in this game. The Browns have 14 takeaways on the year. That's 8th in the NFL. So I wrote this down. It's pretty funny. But this year it seems like the Philly special has been taking sacks because Carson Wentz is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, 35 sacks. The Eagles' offense is 29th in turnovers with 17. So, man, look for Myles Garrett to have a field day in this game. I think the Browns will definitely dominate this game, but I think it'll be a little bit close because I just don't trust Baker Mayfield. He's got 2 straight games without a touchdown, 6 games under 200 yards, but, they were blaming it on the weather. So we'll see if they can get some clear skies and be able to play better on the offensive side of the ball in this game.
The Beard, do you see this as being like a sneaky kind of close game? Because, the Browns, 6-3, it just seems too good to be true. Like, something's going to happen. And even though Philly's been awful, been underachieving all year, they do have pieces there. Carson Wentz has shown he can be good. Not this year, but in times past. Are you worried for the Browns at all this weekend, or do you see it going to be an easy victory?
It's going to, the Eagles actually, the games haven't necessarily been back and forth games, right? But it feels like they always manage to put themselves in a position to make it a game at some point in time in the fourth quarter. And so that being said, I think if Cleveland is not protective with the ball, then there's definitely a way that, Philadelphia can stay in this game. Philadelphia, they don't have that thing they had for a couple years. Like they were kind of getting away with.
His name is Frank Wright.
Well,
Frank
yeah,
Wright.
it's funny because I remember the episode that Scotty Boomz said that on in season 1 when he was
Thank
like,
you, man.
yeah,
Thank you,
I
bro.
remember the episode like it was yesterday. But people lose coaches all the time, right? The players are still there, and Carson Wentz is having trouble. And they might clean house at the end of the season.
Doug
Coaching wise,
Peterson gone.
Everything.
Somebody today. Oh,
Carson Wentz.
Chad
Carson
Bird trade him.
Wentz.
Chad wants to trade Carson Wentz to restart this franchise.
I
don't know if he wanted to
the other
be-
dude is not the guy. I was asking
Jalen
the Philly
Hurts?
homies yesterday, man. Like, yo, Jalen Hurts is not the guy, and they bringing him in on these obvious ass 2-point conversions,
that's
trying
not
to
on
run him
him,
down the
though.
line. It's like,
They need to let him throw the ball. Jalen Hurts is good. He's going to be good.
Man, we'll
Ooh.
see. What if you
Hey,
say that? He hasn't
hey,
played-
you know I don't-
Timestamp this.
I don't watch a lot of college ball, and I told y'all I'm bringing Bad Dog on the show in a couple weeks. What college did he play at?
Oklahoma and Alabama.
Those are Oklahoma. I want to say is one of the teams he was saying stay away from their Qs.
I mean, Kyler Murray went to Oklahoma.
Oh, maybe it's not them then. Maybe it's
He
not
didn't
them.
finish in Oklahoma though. Where did Jalen Hurts?
Where did he finish?
Who?
Jalen Hurts. Where did he
Hurts.
finish at again?
Jalen Hurts finished
Alabama.
at
Alabama?
No, he finished at Oklahoma. He started at Alabama.
You sure?
Yeah.
You know football.
Oklahoma
better.
had three quarterbacks win the Heisman Trophy in a row.
Yeah, from what I've seen from him, he better be able to throw the ball because he looks like a out of shape running back. He's very slow, and he the way he reads the plays. Granted, they've been all running read option kind of plays. It's been very sloppy for that kid, man.
Let's get some scores, man. You got
Go
something to
ahead,
say, Beard?
Authentik.
You want
You want me to
No,
go first?
yeah, you go first. Because I'm going to take your score plus 3.
I mean, bro, I'm definitely taking the Browns in this game because I think the Eagles can win this game, but I want the Browns to win this game. I need my Giants to really get every opportunity they can to try to close out and win this division. And the Eagles with that tie, man, that might come back to haunt New York in the long run. And I got my scouting cap on, man, this game, and I really want to see the Browns win this game, but I want to see the Eagles compete so that I know that the Giants can go in there and beat the Browns when we face them in a couple of weeks here. And score-wise, I'll give you the score here. I'll say it's going to be really close. I'll go 24-21 Browns.
low scoring affair, but taking the Browns. No NFC East loyalty, Awthentik. We don't like it, man. The Beard. Who do you got? Give me a pick.
Only the one
four.
team, baby.
One team.
I mean, for rooting interest and for the sake of this division, I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns are going to win by a final score of 20-17.
Did Awthentik pay you to make that pick tonight for his G?
No, dude.
No?
Listen. We need the
Wanted to
Eagles
know.
to lose.
He did tell you when we picked who was going to win the division last week that Washington was going to win it. He had him for one more week, So he's old faithful over there.
I feel like he's getting pressure from the room.
I'm holding strong.
Stick to your team, man. You better do.
Hey,
what you do.
shout out to everybody in the chat, though. Everybody who's popped in, since we started. We appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. We're getting close to 50 people watching right now across all of the platforms. So shout out to everybody who's tuning in right now.
What's up, Manny? What's up, Pops? What up, everybody?
Oh, Emmanuel in the building. What's up, fam?
So if you guys are both going Browns, I'm going to take the Eagles. This is the week they bust out. Baker Mayfield, he's going to have an implosion game. I mean, the Browns are smart. They're keeping the ball out of his hands as much as they can, it seems like, especially without Odell Beckham. Give me the Eagles, 27-24, big bounce back week, holding on to first place. Let's go. Chad Burns in the building.
Chad Burns in the building. Pete, really appreciate that, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate that, bro.
What up, Pete? All right, let's take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back. We got some trivia and 2 more previews. Hang tight. Be back in 8 seconds.
Your wide receiver on IR? Aw, shucks. Your running back keep fumbling every week? Man, damn it all. Well, come chop it up with your boys. We are waiver wire tight. Awthentik and the Beard. Every Sunday morning, streaming live at 11 a.m.
We are waiver wire tight. You heard it here.
Yeah, Authentik said that line too out loud.
I did during the break. I said that. It's something about the way you say that waiver wire.
Check us out Sunday mornings for the parlay. We do all your gambling, fantasy, advice. We pick all the games. It's always a good time. Grab your coffee, grab your beer if you drink early, get your bathrobe on, and hit us up 11 a.m. the parlay. It's a good time every time. Jazz flutes have been queued up. That means Awthentik is ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Dwayne, that game is not going to be close. My Giants are going to take care of y'all, just like we did the Eagles. I'm going to say we're going to win by 10.
Hey, look, there's a lot of love, a lot of confidence for the Giants right now.
Dog, we are I swear, the most trending on the up team in the NFL right now, man. I'm telling you, we've been balling out, and I feel like Daniel Jones has a lot more to prove and a lot more to show, man. A lot more.
Weren't you here on Tuesday, the beer? Didn't you hear Awthentik going?
I mean, look, I said it 3 weeks ago that the Giants were playing the best. Even right before they went on the winning streak, I said that the Giants were playing the best football in the division. I said it. I'm not hating on the Giants. I'm just saying this is 2020. This is the NFC East. Let's not get ahead of ourselves quite yet.
Yeah, they're not putting an asterisk by our division to let everybody know that we had 3 new head coaches in the division. I don't think there's any other division that's like that. And at least we don't have the Jets in the NFC East. So, I mean, I think we're doing pretty decent.
If you're trying to hang our hat on something, man, just keep it where it is, buddy, because we got nothing this year. I don't think NFC, I don't know. We'll see.
Like I said, man, them Giants, man, they on the turn up. And look, if the Giants get in the playoffs, y'all better watch out. In the NFC, it's the Giants. If we get in the playoffs, watch out. And in the AFC, it's the Patriots. If the Patriots get in the playoffs, you better watch out.
And
Revival of the 2011.
In the playoffs.
Okay, we made the bet, and I almost want to make the bet with you about the Vikings.
If the Patriots make the playoffs, they don't want to see how crazy is that. They make the playoffs, Super Bowl, and then lose to the Giants again.
Come on, that would be amazing. Daniel Jones against the Patriots and we win again. But look, you see when Tim do that little fake confident, whatever he said, they're not making the playoffs, right? that is exactly how he was when I said, yo, don't be surprised if Alex Smith get back in the game this year. He was like, Alex Smith is never going to play football again, ever again.
Did he say? Yeah. He actually did say that because
the week before he came in, bro. Come on. I got that authentic intuition. You see what I did there?
I mean,
authentic tuition.
Washington quarterback situation fell apart quick. Alex Smith to the rescue.
Facts. The boy's slinging it.
Dada. All right, I got four questions for the gentleman tonight.
Dope.
I'm on like a 3-game winning streak, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Maybe 3 of
you gave him the
one
win last week.
Is hip hop. You said that, but I went back and watched the tape, and he won by 2. So even like one fluke here doesn't really matter.
Those rules were fluke.
I like my rules. We're going to keep them the way they are. I'm going to get you whiteboard, though. I'm going to get you guys whiteboard.
You know what I need? I'm going to add something to this little trivia time, little logo. It's got to be trivia time with Scotty Boomz or something in cursive at the bottom or something there.
There you go. Yeah, whiteboards would be huge, too, because I don't like you guys stealing each other's answers. Or like a pass system, maybe, where you asked, and then if you don't know, you can pass it. But I'm going to think on it a little bit.
I'm going to get the whiteboards for next episode. I like that.
Oh, you got the hook up like that. I've been looking all over. They're like
five below. Is that what the place is called? Yeah. In Columbia Heights? 5 Below. Yeah, they got them. I'm going to get them things.
All right, let's get into it. Chat, feel free to answer if you know. They'll steal your answers if they don't know it. Question number 1. We're going to talk about the 3 first-round quarterbacks drafted in 2004. Authentik's familiar. Eli Manning is 1, Phillip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger. I want you guys to give me in order who has the most career passing yards amongst those 3.
Saw him first this week.
Correct.
I'm going to go Roethlisberger, Rivers, Manning.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that same answer. Yeah.
Incorrect. You guys Authentik, don't try to read me. Rivers is first.
Yeah, I was thinking take the risk, but I'm playing with my back against the wall here, so I got to get a dub tonight.
He had some big-time years in San Diego. It was like 5,000 yards a couple years in a row. Phillip Rivers has 61,000. Roethlisberger, 58,000. Eli, 57,000. Next week, if Phil Rivers plays for the Colts, which he should, he and Eli will play the exact same amount or started the exact same amount of games in the NFL. That shows how durable Eli was. He hasn't played in a season and a half.
And yeah, he was super durable. A lot of people in the chat got that one right, man. Yeah, a lot of people got that one right. Chris Senor, Lax got that. Joel got that.
Because people forget about Roethlisberger. They ran the ball a lot in his early years. Willie Parker, he wasn't really chucking the ball until Antonio Brown got there.
Yeah.
And then things just got crazy.
Big Ben got a Super Bowl his rookie year, or was that his second year?
Rookie. No. Rookie?
When Bettis fumbled it or whatever?
05. It was 05.
his
It was
second
05.
year.
Okay,
Yeah.
so second year. Yep.
All right, 0-0. Going to question number 2. This one's a cupcake. Who holds the career record for most touchdowns by a tight end? Starting with Awthentik.
Give me Tony Gonzalez.
For 200, Tony Gonzalez, the beard. Which tight end holds the record for most career touchdown receptions?
I like how you repeat.
I
the
mean,
question,
look,
like,
'cause
hurry up, Mo.
I want to say Tony Gonzalez, right?
Mo.
But in the back of my head, I'm like, man, it might be one of them old school dudes, like, Kellen Winslow. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like Sterling Shepard, or maybe like Sterling Sharp.
How dare you disrespect?
Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp.
Sterling
No,
was
I
the wide
thought Sterling Sharp
Sterling
was
is
the
the
tight
brother
end.
who's the wide receiver,
receiver.
at
Okay, my bad.
Green
Shannon
Bay.
Sharp.
Way
Okay,
better
and then
Shannon Sharp be talking about, lay off the backwoods.
Antonio Gates might be up there too. I'm gonna go
You
with
have
Tony
5
Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez.
You guys are both incorrect. He has
Yo.
111.
You got to be able to read Scotty's eyes, man. Is it Gates?
It's Antonio Gates.
Yeah, I could tell by the way when
See?
Tim said Gates. Look, he said Gates, and
I
if I
didn't
was a
hear him say
detective
Gates.
on First 48, I would have been like, it's you. It was you, because you went like this. Gates.
You know why Awthentik is making things up? Because on the very first question, the beard answered incorrectly, and Awthentik immediately confirmed that wrong answer by reading my face. So right
No,
then,
it wasn't from the face.
No.
My back's against the wall. I got to play defensively tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, not quite.
No wrong answers at all costs.
I actually am a police detective in my side job. I quit my doctor career, and now I just read people. All right, question number 3, 0-0. Let's go, fellas. This stat is crazy. In
Giants
253
opinion got that one.
career games, Larry Fitzgerald has only had 1 game with no catches. That's crazy. Which team held Larry to no catches? This is somewhat of a trick question. Starting with off the beard.
How can it be? Is it the Arizona Cardinals?
Wait.
That's his answer. I don't know how that could be possible.
All right.
That's his answer.
No, I'm just saying. He said it was a trick question.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying?
He just tricked
They
you.
the
I'll
ones
tell
that
you why
didn't
it's a
pass him the
question.
ball, so maybe they held him to a
Negative.
game without a catch. All right, I'm gonna. Well, I mean, this is tough. I mean, like, who?
Wait,
how
why
am
is he still trying to answer?
No,
Yeah, you're done.
obviously, that wasn't my answer. Come on, man.
He's cooked.
No, it has to be one team. Well, I can't pick the team he's on. But it has to be. It's one team, so you got a 1 out of 32 chance.
Hey,
1 out
Scotty,
of 31 chance.
This is
of getting
trivia
this.
time with Scotty Boomz now. These
I
are
don't
your
know what
rules.
I don't think I think Tim is taking over. The beard has taken over. Now the rules are the ball in his court. You got 5 seconds to beard for real answer.
I'm gonna go with the Chicago Bears.
Benny, you want to read my face and see if that's the correct answer?
That's not the correct answer, I could tell.
Can I give you another answer?
No.
It's
No.
trivia time with Scotty Boomz.
No, it's no. Always going to be no. You actually gave 2 answers, so you're definitely done. Authentic, you got 10 seconds. Let's get it
Yeah,
moving.
I'll go with Seattle Seahawks. Maybe sometime around the Legion of Boom.
It was in October 2004. Buffalo Bills. Trick question, because in week 3 of this year against Detroit, he had 0 yards receiving, but he did have a catch. So, somebody might have seen that from earlier in the year, been like, damn, Fitzgerald, no yards. That's crazy. But he did have a catch in that game. Wow, this is getting ugly. We are down. And this last one's the hip-hop question, and I think you guys are going to nail it. So we might go to a tie here for our next trivia next Tuesday. A double or nothing week, if it has to be. Question number 4. Chat, I want you guys to get this one. What is included in the 3-course meal mentioned by the Notorious B.I.G. on Puff Daddy's 1997 single, It's All About the Benjamins?
Who's it on first?
You.
Spaghetti, fettuccine, and veal.
The beard.
It's a T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape.
Authentic is correct.
Woo!
I messed
how you
up
gonna
the
have
song.
a Welch's grape in a 3-course meal?
I messed up the song. I wasn't even.
like, yes.
I was so concerned with the one that I was thinking about that I forgot it wasn't. You said all about the
3-course meal.
Benjamins.
Yeah,
Spaghetti.
when you said it like that, authentic, I couldn't even take it anymore. I was like, he's answering like, what is spaghetti, fettuccine, and veal? And I was like,
And see, I rap mine: T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape.
Oh, I kind of
Compensate
rap mine
for a
too.
few,
First, I rapped it in my mind. I was like, don't mess this up, bruh. Don't mess this
So-
up. This is a layup.
The beard. Repeat your. It's Welch's grape, T-bone
It's
steak.
T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape.
Yeah.
It sounds like 4. Cheese and eggs.
What?
That's 2.
Oh,
Welch's
well, no.
grape.
No, the cheese goes
cheese
in the
eggs
eggs.
is a mixture. It's a
You know,
mixture.
cheesy
That's the one
eggs.
thing, yeah.
2 ingredients though.
Nah,
I hear you.
you can't call a cheeseburger 2-course meal.
It's
Right,
a cheesy egg.
Cheesy eggs. Right. I don't know.
Hey,
that meal sounds
Bashir,
more
what's up? Hey,
delicious.
this my young bull I was talking about, man. Philadelphia Eagles fan and content creator, man. Make sure y'all go follow Bashir, man. Young boy, he's a junior in high school, man, but the dude is like way beyond his years, man. Chopped it up with him last night on Pest Channel, PTA Sports, man. He was dropping big gems, man. So make sure y'all go support him and subscribe to his channel. I plan on having him on the show in the future for sure.
Salute, Randall. What's up, big man? All right, Gretz. That's the beard personal favorite 3-course meal. Yeah,
Facts.
That's about right. All right, let's talk about.
Oh, I got
Washington.
you this week. So this was like how when we beat the Eagles, after 8 straight of them taking us out, got the W.
You gonna start your own streak now, Authentic?
Gonna start my own streak now, starting today.
Start your own streak. All right, the preview. The beard has been waiting for. Cincinnati Bengals traveling to take on a Washington football team. Believe it or not, the Bengals actually have a worse record than Washington. No, they don't. They're 2-6-1. Man, now that I'm looking at it, that is better by percentage points. They're 2-6-1. Washington comes in 2-7. The Bengals got blown out by Pittsburgh 36-10 last week. Washington fell to Detroit in that heartbreaker 30-27. Number 1 overall draft pick Joe Burrow having a pretty good season. Maybe not the best rookie quarterback out there, but he's doing his thing. 65% completion percentage, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions on the year. Star running back Joe Mixon, he's been hurt, missed a couple weeks, not expected to play. Gio Bernard is going to fill in. 2 dynamic receivers going on for the Bengals, Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. They both got over 600 yards, combined for 7 touchdowns. On the Washington side of the ball, they got injuries at tackle. Left tackle Garen Christian was put on the IR, and the backup Cornelius Lucas had the ankle injury. He's probably not going to play either. Ron Rivera came out and said if that's the case, Morgan Moses, normally the right tackle, will shift to the left side. He played the end of the game last week, did an admirable job, so hopefully it's something they can go with. The beard, we beat the drum on the show about wanting to see Washington run the ball more to alleviate pressure on the rest of the team. Truth of the matter is it that they suck at it. They are 3rd worst in the league in rush yards total per game, and they're 4th worst in yards per carry, only 3.8. Who do you blame it on? O-line, running back, play calling?
Play calling. I mean,
Really?
it's funny you say that because I was looking at Antonio Gibson's numbers, right? Because I don't know why people think that Antonio Gibson is not a stud, like not a good running back right now.
Who said that?
At this, I mean, well, I guess maybe because I listen to a lot of local radio, but I mean national. I mean, a lot of people just aren't. They think that the transition is not going as they thought. But I mean, like, okay, he's got 436 yards on the season and 7 touchdowns, right? I want to say he's averaging himself. I know
400?
you said what 436 yards.
Yeah, 436 yards.
Yeah, rushing.
That's
I want to
average.
say that he's almost on. He could potentially get to 1,000 yards this year.
Yup.
Definitely
but-
get it combined, right?
Oh, for definitely combined, and that's the thing too is that the most impressive thing about Antonio Gibson, you have to remember that he's basically transitioning from wide receiver to running back. Okay, and the biggest thing is that he's breaking tackles. Like he's really if you look at the film, he is really good at his runs after contact. And the thing is their yards after contact, however you want to look at it. But I want to say that he's averaging like 4.1, 4.2 yards a carry on a season.
4.2, you and Christine York got it. Yeah, that's what it is. It's
I
bad
think the
last
reason
week.
why media might be down on him though is his last 2 games have been pretty average. You had the game against the Giants, 9 carries for 30 yards, and against the Lions, that is a fantasy football stat with the 2 touchdowns, but 13 carries for 45 yards is garbage.
Garbage against not a great run defense either. So that was not impressive.
That's what I'm saying is like, you guys know I talk about it all the time about rhythm when it comes to football. Like I'm a big believer in rhythm. And, you got to have a rhythm, whether you a quarterback or a running back, those two positions in particular, because, that's how you get going. And that's why I think you see people like Dalvin Cook put up really big numbers. Derrick Henry put up really big numbers because they're feeding them the rock.
Yeah, but they're the kind of running back, too, that you can just say, here, bro. Gibson's not that kind of guy.
But how do you know if you don't give him the rock?
I mean, you can, from the sample size that we've seen this year, you comparing him to Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry is kind of crazy.
I'm not comparing them to him. I'm just saying that, the rhythm aspect of it, where like once they get the ball more and more and more and more, then
and that's
they're
what I'm
getting
saying.
there.
I think it's because of the style of running back that they are. Saquon Barkley wasn't like that. Saquon Barkley, the kind of guy, you give him a lot of carries, sometimes he's losing more yards on them first down runs.
Yeah, but that's because the time when Saquon Barkley was running the ball, the offensive line and the Giants was horrible. They was in the backfield when he was getting a handle. And I mean, I'm getting to that point. You know what I'm saying?
And they banged up.
The thing is, I mean, a lot of it is play calling, though, in my honest opinion. And then obviously you look at the offensive line, but our offensive line is not as bad as it has been in years past. It's still bad. Don't get me wrong, but it hasn't been as bad as it has been in years past. Like the last 2 seasons, the Washington football team had one of the worst offensive lines in the league easily.
When you say play calling, do you mean like the actual plays that they're calling, or is it more of a balance of pass to rush?
The game plan in general, the timing in which they're calling the plays, the actual plays that they're calling. So for example, I mean, we can go back to last week to the point when you in a 17-yard line and you got 2nd and 2. And instead of handing the ball off to Gibson, you run a double reverse sweep.
It wasn't inside the
12-yard
line. It was inside like the 10-yard line, man. It was like the
12-yard line. 12-yard line.
Yep. And then something else happened the next play that knocked him out of field goal range.
The Alex Smith sack.
The sack. Which that was probably the worst moment of the game for their coaching staff as far as offensively calling the plays.
First drive.
But I wanted to get to this too, man. Like, I think that the reason why their game plans are so garbage is because your defense ain't stopping nobody. You get down every game. Washington is down by 2 scores every game.
I think I'm absolutely over and tired of people using that excuse of you can't run the ball when you're down.
Were y'all down
20-3?
Were y'all down 20-3?
20-3 or 21-3 at halftime?
17-3.
17-3 at the half. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you can. I don't think that you have to abandon the run. But when you don't have a guy like the 2 guys you mentioned, that's when things get a little sketchy. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just keep handing the ball to Antonio Gibson when you're down by, 14, 17 points. You're going to have to find a way to throw the ball. And I think Alex Smith did a good job of throwing the ball down the field, but it just didn't translate into touchdowns. And I don't understand why that's happening for Washington so much.
That goes into the play calling, specifically once you get onto the other side of the field. The play calling just has gone array.
I mean, we were 3 or 4 in the red zone, so we scored.
See, that's my man right there. I literally was going to bring up that exact stat from last week. Y'all were 3 or 4 in the red zone.
You said the Gibson fantasy stats. That was it. I mean, Alex Smith got him all the way down the field. They got within the 5-yard line. And Ron Rivera does what Ron Rivera used to do with the Panthers. They ran the football in twice. So,
okay, but look at their red zone percentage efficiency for the season.
Not good.
Not good.
Where are they at for the season?
I want to say they're in the bottom of the league.
Our best receiver is 6 foot, and then we got a tight end who's just coming into his own. Gibson,
and they need to start
using.
He had a good game. They need to start using. Yeah, Logan Thomas has been getting better, but they need
2 throws that they made down the field to
Cam
Logan
Sims
Thomas?
is who they need to be targeting in the red zone. Cam Sims needs to be the #1 red zone target. He's the tallest person on the team. He's the most physical person on the team, and he's proven that he can make big catches.
Logan Thomas is a physical dude. I remember like 2 weeks ago, he ran somebody over. I was like, whoa, that dude used to play quarterback?
Right, exactly. But think about the way the Panthers used to score in the red zone. I mean, all through Rivera's tenure. It was Greg Olsen. They were running the football, man. He didn't really, they don't like receivers, period. So Cam Sims in the red zone, that might be a pipe dream, the Beard.
Yeah, maybe when you're just a little bit outside of the red zone, 30-yard line vibes, you could look to take those shots, those post routes, post corner routes, and fade routes. But y'all aren't I feel like y'all haven't really invested in the fade route since Josh Dotson was there, and he wasn't even catching them. But y'all were definitely invested in trying to throw that route. But Washington's just not invested in the fade route. It seems to be that Alex Smith is throwing the ball better across the middle, man. And I was super impressed by the 2 throws back-to-back to Logan Thomas last week, man. I mean, 2 darts from about 15 yards out. I think that the Redskins or Washington football team could use Logan Thomas a little bit more strategic because I don't know how good of a run blocker he is, but he seems like a big guy who you could keep out on the field for situations that look like the run, but where you could run pass, kind of like first down opportunities like we were talking about the Browns running the ball so much on first down. But analytics do say that throwing the ball on first down is a better thing. And I think Washington could benefit from that, looking at Logan Thomas, looking his way on first down for sure.
I just want to see balance.
Yeah, that's why I asked you about the balance.
There's no balance.
Now,
balance.
When you talked about the running game and still committing to the run when you're losing, I like what Troy said. He was like, that works for running teams. But when you talk about the balance, I think that's the number one thing is why Washington gets unbalanced is because they're down by so many points.
Yeah, but they're getting down by so many points because in the early portions of the game, they're 3 and out so much.
It's chicken and an egg talk about, like, all right, why are we getting down? Is it because we can't score? Is it because our defense can't stop anybody? And then why can't we come back? Is it because we can't run the ball or because we couldn't run the ball to begin with, and that's why we're down?
I think a lot of that has to do. I think a lot of that has to do with the time of possession. So, the Redskins' time of possession in the second half versus time of possession in the first half is like night and day.
And I think that's because we're down so much. That's another
because we're not possessing the ball because we're going 3 and out, and the other team is coming on. The defense is getting tired. They're scoring points, and next thing you know, we're in a hole.
You talk about tired of hearing excuses. I don't want to hear about NFL defenses being tired. I hate that. I hate that excuse. But also, the 3 and outs are happening because you're not effectively running the ball early in the game. Simple.
Because if you look at the play calling, though, you got to look at the play calling. They're not running the ball in the right positions at the right times.
I mean, I'm going to look at the Washington box score from last week because I want to see the play-by-play. I would like to see the balance. I wish you had it pulled up because you're defending it, but I don't see the proof in it. You know what I mean? Because from what I'm seeing when I watch the games from Washington, they try to run the ball early and they're ineffective.
Yeah.
And then it's like, do you think that Ron Rivera literally thinks he goes into the game with a game plan that Alex Smith is going to throw the ball 55 times? There's no way in hell.
I mean, what else are they doing?
Well, I mean, think about...
They don't run the ball.
Washington has the 3rd worst average per carry and 3rd worst yards per game.
Yeah.
That's what he said when he opened up.
Yeah, rushing. I mean, that...
Terrible. It's not...
It's across the board.
But what about how many attempts, though? Where are they at in attempts? They're probably in the bottom of the league in attempts, too.
That happens when you don't possess the ball enough to run the ball.
Yeah, they're fourth worst in attempts.
Yeah, they're not running the ball. It's not necessarily that they're not running the ball successfully. Yes, we know that.
You know who's last? You would never guess is Jacksonville Jaguars. That young bull over there is having big success running the ball, though. It's crazy. Their average yards per carry is 4.5 to y'all 3.8, and they're last. They've only rushed the ball 200 times. Washington has rushed the ball 215 times.
There's definitely a sweet middle ground when it comes to running the ball the right amount of times. Because look at the other teams down there, Steve. I mentioned Philadelphia earlier. They don't run a lot, but they're averaging over 5 yards a carry. That's insane.
Exactly. But Doug Peterson he's a damn fool.
Right.
He needs to. You're right about that, Scotty. He needs to completely change that game plan and get the ball out of Carson Wentz's hand, who he leads the league in so many bad statistics for quarterbacks. It's ridiculous. I mean, he's getting sacked crazy. It's time for them to actually rely on the run more, that shows it. The Washington football team is actually up there in as far as rushing touchdowns, they're like top 10.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I mean the stats really don't show what's going on there with Washington, but all I can talk about is what I see with my eyes, and what I see with my eyes is the Gibson kid, especially the last 2 to 3 weeks, he has not been that effective. Who's the other back that y'all got? Is it
J.D. McKissick?
McKissick. I always want to say McKinnon. I like McKissick.
Rivera loves McKissick. He's only one of 3 running backs to have 40 or more receptions this far into the season. Him, Kamara, and Mike Davis, I believe. So
yeah, and I mean, maybe the I don't know, man.
Pass blocking too, I guess, is another thing why they keep
Washington is a puzzle that is just so hard to crack, man. It's just so hard to crack.
That was my puzzle analogy from Tuesday.
I think they're doing what they have to do to stay in these games. I mean, these last 2 games, you have to throw the ball, and Alex Smith, his numbers show he's got 300 plus yards in both those games. Granted, against New York, he had the 3 interceptions, but in this game, he kept it pretty clean with no interceptions, but no passing touchdowns, which I think think Antonio Gibson benefit from getting down into the red zone. One of those was on the what's the tight end's name? I'm forgetting his name right now.
Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas, where he had that catch where he got down to the goal line. But I mean, it's a major puzzle here. And I think it's the same thing with Washington's defense. Like, y'all are the number one pass defense, but you guys are allowing Matt Stafford to come in there and throw up 3 touchdowns, 276 yards, 127 passer rating. Washington just does not make sense. It really just does not make sense.
I trust me. I've been trying to wrap my head around it.
But I don't think it's the running game. I'm unless you got to, when I look at Philly, it's a clear-cut thing that's like, yo, run the damn ball.
Right.
Right, it's clear cut. Their running backs are shining. Average yards per carry is the one statistic that you can rely on for a running back. Straight up.
I would love to have Miles Sanders or Boston Scott on.
Oh my goodness,
either
man.
one.
Miles
of those
Sanders, bro, that dude is balling out. So I think with them it's very clear. But here with Washington, it does not say to me that we clearly need to get a ball to our running backs. It doesn't really say that. Alex Smith has came in and he's looked pretty good. But I broke down some statistics last week about the quarterback play in Washington is not that drastically different from quarterback to quarterback. With Kyle Allen, with Dwayne Haskins, it hasn't been that crazy. But I do think that Alex Smith gives them the best chance to win. And they got to find a way. What's up with the screen pass? Well, I just want to see more creativity from the offense. I will agree with you that the play calling is a little vanilla. Besides the double reverses that they're trying to run at the inopportune times.
Fancy.
But they got to find a way to get more creative. I mean, what happened to the pre-snap motion we were seeing early on in the year?
It's like that's not like they would look. There was that one game. That one game. No, but listen. Everything is inconsistent. Everything is inconsistent. That's just. I mean, that's the only reason. That rhyme to the reason to the rhyme. It's just there's inconsistency all over the board.
His cadence sounded like RZA, perpendicular to the square.
Dang, forever. That's the staple of bad teams is inconsistency.
Listen. You can go. That's it. You can go,
bro. That's why the Giants couldn't win games early on in the year, man. They're inconsistent, and not only throughout the year, but inconsistent within the game.
It's better than being bad. The Jaguars are bad. The Jets are bad. There's a lot of teams that are just
the Jets are bad. I don't know.
The Jaguars are bad.
The Jaguars, they're unfortunate.
They're bad.
No, they're bad.
The Chargers are unfortunate.
Yeah, the Chargers are going to get a win this week, though. They're playing the Jets.
Hey, and I was talking with these fools yesterday, bro. I was like, man, don't be surprised if that game with the Chargers, fourth quarter, your boy having to try to make some throws to win the game, and it don't happen, and the Jets mess around and get their first win.
It could happen.
The football team runs those reverses. They should just punch.
Straight up, man.
Better play.
I mean, look, this is the other thing, too, you got to think about, right? So the Washington football team, they had their best 2 defensive pressure games against the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, both of which have horrible offensive lines. The next team in line, which actually has probably the worst of the 3 of them offensive lines, is this Cincinnati Bengals team. So Joe, I don't know what this Joe Mixon's status is kind of up in the air, so we don't really know if he's going to play or not. But I mean, you can expect Joe Burrow to probably throw the ball between 40 and 50 times this game. So there's going to be opportunity for them to get sacks, right?
Man, I don't know if you said 40 or 50. I might take the under.
Yeah, I can see this being a low-scoring game.
I might take the under. Y'all run defense is not fantastic. And
that's why I said it depends on if Joe Mixon plays.
And I mean, homie with the mustache is nice.
But he's not getting no carries like how Joe Mixon was per game.
Yeah, he's not, but they also haven't played the Washington football team.
You got Gio Bernard?
Yeah.
He's a staple of Cincinnati football. He's been there for like a decade, it feels like.
Yeah, he's been there for a grip. But I will agree with you that Joe Burrow is throwing the ball a little bit too much, but the surprising stat is the completion percentage that Scotty brought up in the beginning. And Joe Burrow actually leads the NFL with 26.9 completions per game. So even though he's throwing the rock a lot, he's completing a lot of passes as well. But the sacks, he's taken way too many sacks. He's been sacked 32 times this year. That's second to Carson Wentz.
You guys want to hear something sad?
Sure.
I talked about Cincinnati.
Normally I would say no, but sure. You want to hear something
Since we're
sad?
talking about the Washington football team, I'd love to hear something sad.
So I talked about the 2 Cincinnati receivers. How about that guy, A.J. Green? Where's he been? He's been healthy for all 9 games this year. He's played every single game. That's where the positives end. He's got 31 catches, 316 yards, no touchdowns. This is the saddest part, Authentic. His catch percentage, it's 45%. That's second worst in the NFL amongst anybody.
So you think he's done?
45% is second worst in the NFL?
Some guy named Jeff Smith for the Jets is at like 40% or 40%.
That must be a little high for this year for the NFL because, guys like Des Bryant were just over 50% career guys as far as targets and receptions go.
40. Either way, 45 is ugly. Do you guys think he's just unmotivated and wants out? Because we saw some chatter about him on the sideline saying, trade me.
Really?
Cameras, they capture everything. Oh, yeah, look that one up. It wasn't confirmed, but it looks like that's what he says.
Yeah,
or do you think
I'll trust you on that.
Or the injuries catching up to him? What do you guys think? Unmotivated or injuries?
I don't think you can play unmotivated in the NFL. The speed is too fast. You play unmotivated, you're gonna get hurt. But I do think the injuries could be playing a little bit on it. And it's like when you hurt a knee like that, the stability of that knee and to get the confidence back in that knee, a wide receiver, a guy who's a little bit frail, if you ask me, at that position too, he's probably thinking about it, man. And I don't know what the targets are looking like for him as far as
second in the team in targets.
He's second on it. So, I mean, he's getting the ball, man. There's no excuse for that. Yeah, I mean, AJ Green, he might be cooked. He just might be cooked. You never know.
The Beard, you think he's going to go somewhere else? Where do you want to see AJ Green go next year if he's still going to play football?
If he plays football, I
would take AJ Green for some cheap dollars.
He's only 32.
But he's 32, but them injuries.
He's 45 in injury years.
Yeah, I think he's definitely done in Cincinnati after this season. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
They got some, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and they're gonna have a top pick this year too.
What's the contract like? Because I don't think they would. If the contract ain't too crazy, I don't think they would give up on him.
Two
he has
good
proven he could play.
They got studs out there. And I mean, T. Higgins has really showed out the last couple weeks. AJ Green has become expendable. That contract might be hard to move though.
Yeah, and you do want to make sure you got some depth at the wide receiver position, man. The Giants know all about that, man. That 1 year with Brandon Marshall, we had the starting squad that looked crazy, and when Brandon Marshall went down and Odell went down, it was like, whoa, who's gonna fill in for these guys, So I would it's really a contract thing, I think, man. Like if the contract is too crazy and if you could cut them and save some bread, then yeah, you probably want to do that. And somebody might come up and AJ Green could probably revive his career around a better quarterback, or I won't say a better quarterback, I'll say a more seasoned quarterback, because with Burrow in his first year, a lot of those sacks that he's taken, I wouldn't even blame him on the offensive line. The kid is holding the ball too long.
Definitely vodka, Waterfly. Definitely vodka.
No, absolutely not. I was going to say a spiced rum would probably go nice, like a Captain Morgan, if you're going to go rum.
Dude,
but
I used to love NyQuil and vodka back in the day.
That's a crazy mix, Waterfly. You trying to get turned, bro. I don't know what kind of night you trying to have. Better have some action lined up or something.
What time to kick off tonight, the Beard?
8:20.
All right, so let's get through this. Give me your picks real quick. We're going to do Giants for like 2 minutes, and then we're going to talk about the Thursday night game. So give me a pick and a score, the Beard.
Yeah, him first.
27-24 Washington football team.
Good man.
27.
Last time.
Yeah,
if they let me down this week, it's back to the back
to the kennel.
I had that one every week. Last time. Authentic. Picking a score.
Man, I remember when the Bengals played the Steelers last week, man. I picked the Steelers, but I thought the Bengals were going to come out and show up. They came out and put up a dud. The kid Burrow looked like garbage, 213 yards in that game. And I wanted to pick Washington going into the show today. I thought Washington could win this game. But I got to go with my gut, man. I think the Bengals are going to win this game. I think they're going to sneak out and get a victory here. I'm going to go 29-24 Bengals.
I'm upset that this might be the last game you can pick Washington this year. That will be somewhat legit. I'm upset you didn't pick us. But I'm not
picking y'all against Philly, last game of the year.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that one. I'm taking Washington 30-24, bounce back week. Alex Smith finally going to get some touchdowns. McLaurin's going to get a couple. Joe Burrow, sorry, buddy. You're not going to win. Before we get to Thursday Night Football, real quick, we got to mention it because we got the Giants people in the house. Mark Colombo, offensive line coach, fired this week. Apparently, I believe it was after the game last week, somewhere in the middle of the week. Joe Judge brings in Mark Colombo to the office, says, hey, listen, I'm bringing in a consultant, an offensive line consultant who Judge had previously worked with in New England and somewhere else as well. And Colombo lost his S big time, like cussing, screaming. It didn't get physical, they said, but it did get loud and heated. Mark Colombo fired as offensive line coach. The line's been playing better recently. They got a weird like 6-guy, 7-guy rotation going on, but for the youth they have, it's working out. Awthentik, tell me how you feel about the firing and if it's going to affect the offensive line going forward.
Yo, at this point, I'm going to keep this very short.
Yep.
I trust Joe Judge as our coach. That dude knows what he's doing. And the offensive line struggled for these first couple of games. They even said Joe Judge in the last 3 weeks was having to go and practice with the offensive line and implement schemes and things that Colombo wasn't doing. And he felt like he had to really put his hand on that when Joe Judge is trying to act more like, a CEO as far as a coach for the Giants and not really, put his hands on the in the schemes that go with the offensive line or as an offensive coordinator calling plays or defensive coordinator. He's relying on his staff to do things properly. I trust him in this situation. I think that he feels that Colombo wasn't getting the job done. And I'm extremely excited about bringing in this new guy, man. Coming from the Colts in 2018, man. They had a fantastic top 5 offensive line. So hopefully this offensive line could just stay on the come up, man. And, we didn't see Hernandez get in the game coming back off COVID until Zeitler got hurt in this game in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left. I like what's going on. I think Joe Judge is implementing and putting his golden touch on this offensive line, and I think they're just going to get better to come. And they're very young. That's what I love about this offensive line. They're going to be able to grow with Daniel Jones, and we should see this unit stay together for years to come.
Accountability and discipline are two big things when it comes to young players. And Judge looks like he's enforcing that with his players, but also with his coaching staff. If you're going to cuss and scream at me in my office where people can hear you, you're not going to be here tomorrow kind of thing.
You're cut. Get him out of here.
I haven't heard Coach Borzico cut in a long time.
You ain't heard that in a minute. You're cut.
We got to get that. We got to get that little snippet right there, too. Thursday night football. We got a big game coming up in 7 minutes. Cardinals traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Both teams sitting at 6-3. Last I saw, Seattle's a 3-point favorite. They played October 25th. Cardinals won 37-34. Kyler Murray, more rushing touchdowns on the year than the entire Seahawks team. This is another little nugget. Since week 7, Russell Wilson, 10 turnovers. That's most in the NFL in that span. Adjust your MVP rankings accordingly. Arizona's offense averaging number 1 yards per game in the NFL this year, 425. Seattle's defense, not just worse this year, this is the worst defense of all time. This should be a really good game to see. Kind of weird Seattle has the -3 on their side. The Beard, over under 58 points tonight. Sounds like easy money. Tell me where you're sitting. Give me a player and give me a pick and a score.
I'm going to take the over.
Good man.
Sneaky play is going to be Christian Kirk. Score is going to be... I thought about picking Seattle because I think they're going to bounce back. But I'm going to take Seattle.
You going to take Seattle?
37-35.
It's a long time for nothing, right? 37-35. I like the score, though. That's a good score. So check this out, man. Does Kyler Murray have a nickname yet?
You got one for him? RC? RC?
Bad kid.
I'm liking the Magic Man.
The Magic Man?
Because he's pulling some tricks out, man. You see that Hail Mary, man? That was a great catch. DeAndre Hopkins has said, I knew I was going to catch that.
That's awesome.
Yo, that's gangster right there.
The throw was crazy in itself.
The throw, and you know what they said? They were trying to get one quick throw out of bounds before they threw the Hail Mary, and they said, if you like what you see, throw it up to DeAndre Hopkins.
And
he was triple covered, and he liked it.
But Hopkins caught it like he was like mad how long he had to wait for it. Like, he snatched it out of the air so quick.
Yeah. I mean, that was a man catch, man. And DeAndre Hopkins is the best trade of the year, man. 12 targets in that game, 7 catches, 127 yards, and 1 major touchdown to win that game. He's got 5 games with 100 yards receiving. On the year, 67 catches, averaging 95 yards a game, and he's got 4 touchdowns. I just see Seattle struggling in this game, man. Last week, DK Metcalf struggled big time. Only had 2 catches for 28 yards, and his first target came in the third quarter. Jalen Ramsey, cornerback, he's probably the best in the league. I'm going to put James Bradbury right there behind him for all my Giants fans. Seahawks are definitely going to need an early lead to win this game. Kyler Murray is just playing lights out football. I'm going to try to fly through this so we can get to 820. He has, in 5 straight games, he has a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. He's the first player in NFL history to do that. And they got a healthy Kenyon Drake back who had a pretty decent game, 16 carries for 100 flat, 6.3 yards per carry, which is solid. Kyler Murray's numbers on the year are just ridiculous rushing the ball. 87 attempts, 604 yards, like Tim was talking about last week, 10 touchdowns. He has one of the highest average yards per carry at 6.9, 67 yards a game at quarterback. I mean, this is ridiculous. And this is the main point I want to get to, Scotty, what you was talking about. You said since week 7, Russell Wilson had 10 turnovers leading the league. I believe that's what you said. And the reason for that is because that's the week that Chris Carson got hurt against this exact same Cardinals team. And since he's been out, man, it's been really, really, really tough for him, man. Before, Chris Carson, in all the games that he's played, the Cardinals game is the only game that they lost that Chris Carson was actually in. And I want to say that the Seahawks went on to lose 2 of the next 3 that Carson didn't play in. Which is crazy, man. And on the year, he's averaging 4.9 yards per carry. He's only got 3 touchdowns in 5 games. Seattle has not had a 100-yard rusher all year long. And I thought Chris Carson was going to come back, and play in this game. Since Seattle has not had Chris Carson in the lineup, Russell Wilson has 7 interceptions. So I think that that's really showing up on the numbers. The pass attack struggled against the Rams, and I think that's because they were playing a pretty solid team without any running back. Chris Carson, I want to say he's ruled out today. I'm looking for Russell Wilson to struggle a little bit more. I think he'll still have his touchdowns in this game because in those games without Carson in the game, he does still have 9 touchdowns to match that 7 interceptions. But I was going to pick Seattle in this game if Chris Carson was healthy, if he was healthy. But give me the Cardinals in this game, man. I think Kyler Murray's our MVP candidate, maybe number 1. They compared his rushing and passing combined to this point last year to Lamar Jackson, who was the MVP last year. And Kyler Murray was beating him in every statistic, man. So, yeah, give me the Cardinals in this game. I do think it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to go 42-35 Cardinals.
Very close to my score. I'm also taking the Cardinals. I think 45-35. Russell's going to keep him in the game, but, man, Kyler Murray, he's obviously on cloud 9 right now after that win last week against Buffalo. That was insane. Let's send him off right. The Beard, you got any words for the fans?
Make sure you guys check us out Sunday morning, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the parlay. And shout out to everybody who is watching us on Twitch, Facebook, and the YouTubes, as well as Periscope. Shout out to all the people in the chat. Y'all coming through every episode, every show. It's been a ton of fun. Make sure you guys check out Freedom Breakers on Facebook if you're into those sports card breaks. And yeah, I really need a win. I need a win. That's what I need.
Right.
And so I'll see you guys on Sunday morning, and hopefully we can get this thing rolling in the right direction.
Desperation is a stinky cologne, the Beard. Authentic game. Send them off right, buddy.
One more thing about this game tonight, man. Don't be surprised if the Cardinals come out and struggle to run the ball, man. I know that this Seattle passing defense is last in the league, historically putting up some terrible numbers here, but their rushing defense is ranked 4th in the NFL. So I'm really looking forward to this game. Like I told y'all, man, the Giants are going to be playing both these teams coming up, and I think the Giants are going to have to beat one of these teams to get into the playoffs, man, if we can win those games that we're expected to win. Just want to salute everybody in the chat tonight, man, chopping it up with us, man. It's been a great year so far, man, for Awthentik and the Beard and my man Scotty Boomz, watching this subscriber base build. And I just want to shout out all the Giants creators out here, man. Y'all are really sharing y'all networks with us, man. And this is one big family. So I wanted to give a shout out to a podcast that I actually discovered just as I was taking a shower before we went on air. I was looking up some NFC East stuff on YouTube, and I found this podcast from this guy named Drew Harrison, who him and his homie, who's a Bucks fan, I forgot the homie's name, they got a podcast called Nickel and Dime. I thought that was a fantastic name. It was like Nickel and Diamond with Drew Harrison. So definitely check them out, man. It was a very professional podcast, and I want to keep the theme going on with this, sharing businesses and sharing, other content creators and spreading the word about people who are putting positivity out there in the air, like my homie Tim did last week. Talking about whose business did you shout out last week again?
Derek Allison, his contractor, and then my man Bill flips to pay the bills eBay store. Yeah, man. So shout out both of them, man. So definitely go check out Drew Harrison and the Nickel and Diamond podcast, and continue to spread love out here, man. Y'all know people waking up, they're miserable, man. We got to spread more love out here, man. It's an important thing, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing these games. Be on this bye. I'm gonna kick my feet up and watch these games and just enjoy football tonight. And I'm gonna enjoy some football on Sunday, man. I'll see y'all for the parlay Sunday morning.
So back to you in the studio. Thanks again, everybody.
Back to you, Scotty.
Thanks again for tuning in to our Thursday preview show. Be back on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. sharp for the parlay. Have a beautiful evening. Enjoy the NFC West matchup. Best division in football.
You know what it
Don't
is.
forget it. You know
Peace.
what it is.